Hey testing community, it's me Daniel Knott. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Software Testing. Happy that you're here. Today I would like to talk about personal values and why are the personal values important for us software testers and why you should know your values. So let's dive into today's video, personal values. Hey, before we start with the main video, I would like to thank you the following companies for their support. They support me through the YouTube membership program that I created for companies who care about software testing and are active in supporting the testing community. Thank you once again. If you want to learn more about the supporters, check the video description down below to find the links to their products. If you miss your logo on this page, follow the QR code or send me an email. Happy testing, and now back to the main video. So, do you know your values? It's a question. Do you know them? Think for some seconds about it. What are values anyways, right? So, what are personal values? Well, that's a tough question that I asked myself a couple of years ago when I attended not a conference, but a workshop or training. There was a trainer asking me, like, hey, to all of us, what are your personal values? And I was like, I have no idea. What does value mean in that case? Something personal, work-related, team-related? And why is this so important to know for my day-to-day job as a software tester? Ask myself that question right away. And maybe you're asking yourself this as well. Why is Daniel doing a video of about software testing, not about software testing, but about values and how is this related to software testing? We come to that in a couple of minutes. So here are some examples of values. Humor can be a value. Stability. Honesty. Just a few, just 3 of I don't know how many values, and we see a long list of values in a second. And why are they important to know? Well, it's really important to know the values because they define yourself as a human being. We all have values and we all need them to have them in our daily lives as a human being, but also in our work relation, because we live towards our values even though we don't know them, right? So we live by our values even if we don't know, and that's so important because our values, they tell us how we handle situations, how we work together with people, how we react in different situations. All those values that you have in your body, in your mind, they define how you live your life, basically. And that's important to know, right? Because then you can live much easier, much better in difficult situations. Yeah. So, and this is why they are so important to know, because when you know your personal values, you know what's most important for you. So how you work, what you would like to achieve as a person, as a human being, and how it can affect your work life. Yeah, so it will help you and others to better understand each other. So that's important. So if you know your values, you know them, you have them written down, which I can only recommend you. You can share those values with your direct peers, with your family, with your friends, with your co-workers, with your manager, and then this person knows, okay, oh, Daniel values are the following, and I'm going to show you my values at the very end of the video. Yeah, so that's helpful. So make sure to know your values. That's an important thing to do. And as I said, share them with your family and with your team managers and stuff like that, because they are so important in our daily lives. The first time I did the exercise, the value exercise, I thought like, oh, again, what a bullshit. Like, what is this all about? Like theoretical stuff. Give me some ideas. I would like to work with people, but boiling it down to values, it opened my eyes, because I had a conflict a couple of years ago in my job when I was talking to a person and we were not really getting to each other. And then I was reminding myself, like, hey, let's talk about values. I asked this person, like, hey, what are your values? And it's like, wow, what is he talking about? And we did a little exercise. He was writing down his values, I was writing down my values, and we showed them to each other. And we found out that we had a value conflict. And there are some value conflicts out there. And the moment we knew that we had a conflict based on our values and it was not something personal between each other, it was much easier to work together because we could more understand the other side. Like he knew that I was reacting that way because of my inner values and the other way around. And with that, we were really able to work around the potential of the conflict that we had, and we found solution. That's why personal values are so important to know. Yeah. So what impacts our values? You might ask yourself. Our culture, the way we are growing up, like in which culture we are growing up, defines our values and impacts. The religion or our personal really hard word today, philosophy is really impacting our values. Our political beliefs, yeah, if we have them. Our education, the education system in your country are impacting your values. Our profession, in which profession we're working in, as software testers, software developers, depending on how long you're working in that profession, it will impact your values. Also our life experience, because values will change over time. Maybe if you do the exercise later on, you write down your values somewhere, and then a couple of years later you do the same exercise, and I bet they will change over time because you made more experience in your life. Maybe you become a dad or a mom, and this will change your way of your personal values. So that's important. So there is a big value list, and Jürgen Appello created a big value list that you can find down below in the video description, but also as you can see here. I don't know how many values are written down here, maybe, I don't know, was it 200 or something, even more. And you can get the big value list for free, download it, and then read through them. And then write down your 10 personal values. It sounds easy, but it's not at all. I'm doing this exercise with all my direct reports in my company, and it took them quite some time to write down their values and then also to order them in a priority list. So that's important. Prioritize your personal values. That's an exercise that I can only recommend you to do. Yeah, because then share them with your team, with your manager, depending with whom you're working or with you're living, and then tell them, hey, look, these are my values, and maybe they're good to know for you. So do that exercise, please. That's really important. Because there are value conflicts, as I mentioned before. So because every person has different values. Even when we share similar ideas, we might prioritize them differently because of our values, because we have we're coming from a different profession, different cultural beliefs, different political background. They will impact how we prioritize work or how we prioritize our lives or how we treat people. And this can help you a lot in getting rid of conflicts. Yeah, because the values that we have in ourselves, they can lead to conflicts. And we sometimes don't know why there is a conflict. Maybe you have a conflict in your current position, your current role, and maybe reflect some time about it. Like, why is this conflict? Why is this person acting the way he or she is acting? And why is this so? Is it because he or she don't like me or doesn't like me? Or is it because of the work or the situations? And maybe it boils down to value conflicts. Because in many cases it does boil down to value conflicts. Because I have seen so many value conflicts myself in my different roles in different companies I'm working with. But now that I know my personal values, I know that conflict that I had back then was exactly related to my values, because they were completely the opposite of what I thought and what is in my mind. And that's good to know. It helps a lot. Yeah, because if people identify that the conflict is because of their own personal values, the involved parties can work on finding solutions that suit both. Yeah, that's important. Yeah. Another thing that you can do is, or ask the question is, does your team have values? If you have done the personal values yourself, you can do the same thing with your whole team to define or to find out what are your team values. Yeah, you can do the same thing, use the big value list, and then conduct a team value exercise. Sit down and talk about your team culture, the beliefs, the values, the work that I'm doing, and then find maybe 5 to 10 of the values that reflect in the best way your team, how you work together, how you work with others, and then also make them transparent for others. It's so important, because if other teams know these are your values, this is important for you, you're reliable, you're focused, you're like silent, you have fun at work and stuff like that, they completely know how to approach you in the best possible way, right? And then of course you have to revise them from time to time. Same thing that you should do yourself when you like work in longer years in companies, or like you're getting older, your values will change, as I mentioned before. The same thing is going to happen with teams. Every time, for example, a new person or people joins the team, anyways, it's a new situation, the team has to form itself again, do the value workshop again to bring new perspectives to it. Yeah. And now we're coming to the question, maybe you asked it you already in the beginning of the legal video, like why is Daniel talking about values today? It's like, why are the values so important for testers? And we all know that we are communicating with so many different people. Product developers, marketing, sales, customers, and so forth. So different people we have to communicate with. And we usually transfer the bad news, right? So we are usually like the person who always transfer the bad news, like bugs, issues, edge cases, wrong requirements, non-functional topics that haven't been addressed and stuff. So we usually do that. And it's good to know what our values are and the potential conflicts that we can see. Yeah. So, for example, if your product manager, he or she likes to work or is like a silent person, you know that his values are like stability or reliability or other things, and or the way or he or she would like to get contacted, you know that directly connected to his or her values. You can completely adjust towards his or her values and transfer the bad news in a different way, you know, and then you can completely X out the potential conflict that may arise. Yeah, because I think it will help you to work differently with people and more efficiently. Give it a try. Yeah, it will help you to prevent possible escalation and problems. I've tried it myself and it's true. But of course, it takes time to identify the values of the people that you work with. When you could think of the values of another person, that he or she is doing exactly like that or has this and that values, but it's not a good idea, because they have to think about themselves, about their values, and have to share the values with you again. So that's why it's important to do that exercise as a team together and also as an individual, and present them yourself. Yeah. So that's important. And now we're coming to my personal values. And I have done this exercise quite a few times now in my career. And some of the values, they have changed. Some of the values have never changed so far, because I was always documenting them, like how they change over time. And the most important value for me that has never changed in my career or in the recent, let's say 10, 15 years, is family. For me, my highest value is my family. So in any case, if something is going to happen to my family, I stop work, I just go there and help them, support them. I'm there for my family. That's super important. And that's important because sometimes companies said, it's just an example, saying, okay, hey, person, you have to go 6 months to another country and work from there. And if you have the value per family in your list, and it's a high priority for you, you might feel weird. You might have this little feeling in your stomach and say, God, this doesn't feel good. I don't want to do it. And then you can relate to your values, because it completely conflicts your values being with your family and support them, right? And then you can address it. Tell them like, hey, look, for family, I cannot do it, and stuff like that. So that's important to know. Helpfulness is really important for me. I like to help people. I mean, I'm doing this with the content here on YouTube, on other channels. I would like to help people in getting better. Honesty is really important for me. I always be honest to people, and I expect the same thing from people. Reliability is also something that is really important for me. I'm a reliable person. So if people ask me like, hey Daniel, can you help me? Can you support me? Can you do that? And I say, yes, I do it. Yeah, that's important. My health is important, for myself, also for my family. Determination is important for me. Transparency. I'm not this kind of person who is like hiding information to someone. So if I can share them in my position or in my role, and I'm allowed to share the information, I'm going to share them as transparent as possible. If I'm not allowed to, if it's confidential, if it's personal, I'm completely silent. You can tell me what is secret and I keep it. I'm not sharing it, that's for sure. Consistency is important for me. Trust is really important. So I really would like to get trust from others, but I also give out trust to other people. So that's really cool. And last but not least, efficiency, because I don't like to do like things over and over again, repeat them many times. So I would like to work efficiently as best possible as I can. And yeah, these are my 10 personal values. And I think that's the last slide for today, for that video. Yes, it is. And what do you think? What do you think about the video today? Do you think it's completely nonsense, or does it make sense for you? Let me know in the comments below if you had any situation where you had a conflict with your values, your personal values, or if you would like to share your values also with me, send me a message, send it down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. What do you think about values? And with that, as always, like it, share it, and subscribe it. Thanks for coming by today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.